is our first interview for the Emerge contest. And welcome. And I want to get a little behind the scenes about your business and start sharing it because we're still in voting mode. So I thought I would do this week and get these out there to our audiences. So tell us who you are and what your business is.
So thanks for having me and doing this interview, Gina. So
You're welcome.
I am Dr. Leslie Kasanoff, and my business is called Empowered Wellness, and I basically help women midlife and older have the tools that they need, mostly physically, but also mentally, emotionally, to lead the life that they choose to lead as they move on in years. So it's a little bit of a combination of both the longevity, vitality piece, but also a lot of the mindset.
Well, that's good because I think that's a big part of it because she also knows that I am part of her demographic.
All know what we go through.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to just go a little back in time. So, briefly describe the history of your business and your brand. Where did you start out?
Oh God.
I
So
kind of know the answer to this, but I'm
yeah.
going to let you
So
answer.
that's been an evolution, as you well know. So way back in time, I started out as a medical lab technologist, and it was an event that happened during that time period that gave me this epiphany that what I really needed to be was I needed to be on the other side of the fence, so to speak, actually empowering people to be able to live healthfully rather than picking up the broken pieces as I was doing in more in the medical industry.
Yeah.
So I shifted from there and became a chiropractor, as you know, and ran a chiropractic practice for about 25 years. And then fast forward through all of my own personal changes and kids growing up and all that stuff. I didn't see the need to be in an office any longer. And I really wanted to still empower people in a more powerful way. So that's when I moved into health coaching. And then over the past year or so, I've added more of a transformational mindset piece to that. So that's the brief of that version. But what it's really all about is the fact it's all, in a lot of senses, people who coach through the journey that they've gone through. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, so it's very much been my journey to empower myself all the all the times when I've let we live so much in that medical model that we don't even realize it. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
helping
Absolutely.
empower people past, to see that for what it really is and to be able to take positive steps so that it's not their only considerations. They don't just go to the doctor and doctor's hands them a prescription and they say, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally agree. Yeah. And I mean, and it's so cool because I think as business owners too, we have this passion, but we're passionate about it because we've also experienced it. So we so know what our I dream clients are actually going through because it's the same with me and
Yeah.
just finding my authenticity and sharing that with the world is really what
Yes.
it's about when it comes to branding. So this is kind of where my passion lies and that's why I really want to empower women to show up as themselves and to share their gifts in such a wonderful way. And
Mhm.
so I'm going to ask you a little bit. So I know we've worked together in the past. We've done some photos. What made you think that you needed to refresh the look of your brand? So like when you're speaking to your customers, what is it you wanted to evoke and how was that different from the first photos I did? Like what are you looking to really evoke to your clients emotionally?
Um, I think it's that's a good question. I think it's that feeling that no matter where I am, I can move forward more powerfully.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you know, real good example. I spoke to a group of like 40 seniors last week locally.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and that was a really great turnout. And it's, and the thing that I see so often in, as people move on in their years, is they just get this kind of, oh, well, this is the way it is, and it just, I'm getting older and I have to settle for this. And you know and they don't realize that there's that just small changes done over time can make a huge difference. And so it's a lot about that empowerment piece, and it's a little more advanced than what it was. The other thing is the pictures that we took are several years older at this point, and I feel like we need an update.
Well, and I mean, I think we did a good job because this is kind of where you're at right now too. I mean, you are a perfect role model for somebody who is living life to the fullest because you're so active. So tell us briefly what you just came back from.
Um, So I know you're asking about the bicycle trip that I did that was actually a couple of years ago at this point.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, but you just came back from going on a trip with your son,
yeah,
but you
and I
were
just
by.
went, yeah, and I did just, yeah. So a couple of years ago, I did a 1,500 mile 6 week bike trip in the fjords in Norway and then into Finland, and that because that's where my son lives. And I also just came back from a trip to Finland during the winter, where we spent 6 days up in Lapland. And for those of us in the States who don't know what the heck Lapland is, Lapland is the general Scandinavian reference for that region north of the Arctic Circle. So we spent 6 days up there,
Oh, wow.
and it wasn't as cold as I thought it was going to be, or as cold as it had been a month earlier, which is key. So it was hovering mostly in the 20s. And it snowed every day we were there.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it only we only got to see the Northern Lights once, because that was the only day that the only time that it cleared up in the evening. But we went snowshoeing, we went cross country skiing, we rode fat bikes in the snow after it had snowed for like six
Wow.
years. And it was crazy. I mean, I fell down more on the bicycle because it was like, the path was one tire width wide for
Oh
the
my
first half
gosh.
of it, and it was crazy. But we had so much fun, and I think that and the thing that I try to impress on people is that we can do anything that we can continue to do the things that we love till the
Yeah.
day we die if
Oh
we put
yeah.
pieces in place. You
Yeah,
know?
I think that people sort of kind of like once they hit over 50 or get to that threshold where they start to
Yeah,
feel the aches and pains, it's like that's it. It's over. I'm
yeah,
doomed.
it's
And it's not
over.
true.
Yeah, and actually, you don't know this one, but Saturday, this past Saturday, I haven't posted my stuff yet. I'm gonna do that. But this past Saturday, I spent the day hiking with four other friends in the desert. And it was absolutely gorgeous. Hiked about 4 miles out in Red Rock.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, and it was absolutely gorgeous, sunshiny, 60 degrees. And
Oh, how wonderful.
yeah, so
Not downpouring.
yeah, and it's just like continuing to do the things that you love, as long as till the day you die, ideally. You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
and having the health, having the vitality, and the mental wherewithal that supports that,
Yeah.
and that's the big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
It's not just the energy, it's everything all
yeah,
pulled together. Yeah.
yeah.
So the photos what we did before were still fabulous, and I know we could. change the tone of it a little bit because we did pictures of you on your bike before, pictures of you working, quote unquote, working with a client, which is a wonderful friend of ours. But I've noticed you've sort of changed your dynamics with some of your marketing in your emails. That you have bolder graphics and they're really nice. I mean, your marketing and your content is really wonderful, and I feel like it's really spot on. So tell me about your transformational sorry your trans tell me about your tone and the style of your brand's communication, and how you're getting it out there, like what's changed.
Well, I think a lot of it has been, through the evolution of, my own journey, just kind of unpeeling those layers and really starting to speak to who is it that you authentically are at this point in time. And I've been spotlighting the word audacity, just
Yeah.
because we have this, and it's one of those things. It's like it's boldness, but it's a little bit of that, what else is going on there?
Yeah, exactly. And kind of like you're embracing
Yeah,
the challenge, is that I
yeah.
think is.
It's about embracing the challenge. It's about continuing to speak your truth,
Yeah, awesome.
live your truth.
And
Yeah,
live your truth. I
yeah.
love, love, love that. So I already have ideas like mine. So
So
then tell me about your launch.
so my launch is basically I've put together about an 8-week program on, and I'm actually still kind of working on the final title of it, but it's basically bringing people through all the steps that they need in terms of the diet. And it goes through so it does cover the diet and the environment and the and the gut health and the what else and the fitness aspect. So it does do all that stuff. It also spends a couple of weeks talking about the mindset and the transformation that you need to empower yourself to get
Oh,
there.
that's
So
nice.
it's, yeah, so it's a full package that gives people basically the tools that they need to empower themselves. And it also will have a significant amount of information that's the stuff that people don't really know about the behind the scenes of the medical industry, um and the truth about some of you know how things have been taken over by the medical industrial complex and big pharma and all that, and
Yeah.
why they need to be so much more aware than they even think that they do,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and how to
true.
empower themselves through that.
Well, that's wonderful. So when can people start signing up? When are you launching officially?
So I'm actually going to be doing several workshops over the next couple of weeks that people will be seeing, that will be free workshops
Okay.
that are kind of an introductory thing, and then if they want to
Gotcha.
go further they can. So they'll see it that way, and then I'll also be doing a more in coordination with that. I'll be doing a launch on the course itself. The course itself is going to start in mid-March.
In mid-March. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me where tell our audience where they can find you.
So my Instagram handle is Dr. Leslie K. So it's Dr. Leslie K. Um, and I've been doing more and more of my, with Facebook being the way that it is now, I've been doing more and more of my Facebook stuff on my personal page. So, and that's just under my
Your
name.
name, Leslie. Okay. And your
Yeah,
website is Dr. Is it
Dr.
Dr.
Leslie
Leslie K?
K.
Okay.
dot com. But that launch is not on there at all at this point, and
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not sure if it's going to
That's
get
okay.
there.
So when is your next workshop, your free workshop?
My workshops are going to be the last week in February and the first week in March. Let me give you the dates quick. The 26th and the 27th, and then the 4th and the 5th. So I'm doing 4 separate live sessions. So whichever date and time works for them. I'm doing a couple at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing one at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, one at 6 o'clock in
Uh,
the evening, just to give people a
some time.
span of whatever time works for them.
That's awesome.
So
That's great.
they're all obviously Pacific Standard Time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Awesome. Okay, so last question, and then we'll wrap this up. So what is next? What's after this? What's after this launch? What is your audacity and boldness going to happen after the launch?
So there's a few things that I'm looking at as so you're talking personally?
I
Like
think either because I
yeah.
know that you probably are already planning your next trip somewhere too. I wouldn't mind hearing that.
Um I have a few things in the wings that are possibilities for trips and things like that. But nothing that I'm really ready to put out there to the public yet at this point.
Oh, okay.
But I'm looking at a summer trip, and well, the one thing that I am looking at that I can say is going to happen one way or another is I'm going to be doing a fall foliage trip this next year.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
back in the New England area, give myself an opportunity to visit family and do some hiking and
Well,
some
that's great.
cycling and do that kind of thing. So that's definitely on the books. There may be something sooner than that. That's the questionable one.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but a lot of it for me is figuring out how to be able to combine that with continuing to serve my clients. So, so this launch will hopefully help me with that so I can consolidate things to because it's going to be a small group program, be able to consolidate more of my coaching into like 1 day a week kind of thing, and
Oh,
then just
gotcha.
have a couple of days where I do business related things and have more time so I can you know
Yeah.
take off for two,
That's
three, four
that's
weeks.
that's the that's the genius about having a business is you can customize it
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way it suits you and your lifestyle that you want.
Yeah. Yeah. So my ideal is to be able to, run my business 2, 3, 4 days a week
Yeah.
for 5 hours a day, and which I can do basically anywhere from the way technology is now.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And besides the group program that you are launching, people can always work with you one to one as well and create
they can always
custom
work with
plans.
me 1-to-1. And and I do have a more in-depth program in the works as well.
Awesome.
Because nobody's going to when you look at it, nobody's going to transform their life in 8 weeks.
No, it needs to be
Yeah,
it does need to be ongoing, and
yeah,
I think for me, it's like everybody's gonna have a different vibe for me. For me, I think I like the idea of being in a group setting because
yeah,
those other people will hold me accountable, and they'll also be going through the same things that I would be going through, so it
exactly.
makes me
Yeah.
feel a little bit more comfortable that I'm not just all alone in this journey.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too, is that when you're in a group program like that, people don't think about it, but you get so much more out of, somebody else is being coached about something else that's maybe loosely related, but in the process, you have all these ahas that are about you.
Yeah.
So it's it's much more it gets much more around everything and gets to a deeper level than people take for granted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for being interviewed by me. You're my first. So you'll also be the first published. Hopefully will be today.
Okay.
And so I look forward to seeing you again and get more votes. Vote for her, people. Everybody vote. I'm gonna have to say that with every client though, but all right, Leslie, thank you. You have a wonderful day.
Okay, you too. Take care.